and warmly welcomes to Mr. Nicholas Park, Senior Customer Consultant from Elsevier Research Solutions. It is our honor to have Mr. Nicholas Park being our guest speaker today. The Faculty of Economics is the leading institution where creating the body of knowledge to achieve the sustainable development of economy and society, which communities can be engaged. Subscriptions to the ScienceDirect can draw the faculties closer to its visions and mission. ScienceDirect can be a great source of academic database for our students, instructors, and researchers. Therefore, I am believing that database will be used for refining, enriching, and expanding their research and paper as well. Hopefully, all of you will enjoy the ScienceDirect instruction. Thank you.
It is a great opportunity for us to use ScienceDirect, which is the Elsevier premium platform of peer review full text scholarly information. Since our faculty is subscribed to the econometrics financial subject, our lecturer can use ScienceDirect to update their class reading list with article books and book chapters covering many disciplines, especially economic and econometric subjects, and help our lecturer to prepare coursework and journal and book on ScienceDirect also can help introduce our undergrad to a broad line of subjects and field on which they can build a solid foundation. ScienceDirect also support our graduates and PhD students to find documents or research papers related to their research topic. They can access and download books, book chapters, journal issues, or journal articles. Finally, I think it will be benefits for a lecturer in planning and updating curriculum and developing student.
Good morning, Dean of the Faculty of Economics, Chiang Mai University, Associate Deans, Senior Customer Consultant, Elsevier Research Solutions, and all participants. The mission of the Faculty of Economics, Chiang Mai University, is to provide, through teaching, research, and academic service, an advanced knowledge and innovation solution for the global, national, and local economic issues confronting our society now and in the future. We aim to be the excellence in academic, research, and service. The achievement target in 2025 is to be ranked in the top 250 QS ranking by subject economics and econometrics. To achieve this target, we need a good quality and high impact research and publications. Elsevier is a global leader in information and analytics that can help our faculty members, researchers, and our students advance economic science. Elsevier's products and services also include digital tools for data management, instruction, research analytics, and assessment. Elsevier's research intelligence solutions could increase our insight, productivity, and ability to compete throughout the research and innovation process. For example, ScienceDirect database in economics and econometrics provides high-quality peer-reviewed publications and high-quality books and reference, content, and journal. The platform is very easy to use and provide many supports. I hope accessing to ScienceDirect database in economics and econometrics can help boosting up our research productivity in economics and econometrics. Moreover, to track, measure, and benchmark our research performance, we use SciVal. SciVal provides access to the research performance of over 20,000 research institutes and their associated researchers from over 200 nations worldwide. We can easily visualize our research performance, benchmark relative to peers, and analyze research trends using the tool. Today's workshop is about utilizing ScienceDirect for college education. I hope that everyone would take the results of this workshop to develop some idea for producing high-quality research and level up our research and academic performance. Finally, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizers and in particular our speaker from Elsevier. Thank you.
Okay, please welcome Mr. Nicholas to talk with and bring economic research and learning with ScienceDirect for Chiang Mai University. Please welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pakanan, and thank you everyone to Chiang Mai University for having me here today. I'm going to share my screen now. Let me know if you can see it. All right. Thank you everyone for joining me this very lovely Wednesday morning, all the way from Chiang Mai. My name is Nicholas, and I'm the Senior Customer Consultant. I'm based in Singapore, but I'm also covering Thailand for the time being. Today's session will be enabling economic research and learning with ScienceDirect for Chiang Mai University, and I'll be walking you through on how you are able to leverage on journals as well as books content on ScienceDirect itself. So this session itself is not just only going to be me talking, but I also want you to be able to access ScienceDirect, and we'll be going through some of this in a live session as we go along. So in today's session, there are three key pillars that I want to focus on, which is on relevance, discoverability, as well as flexibility. So I'll be going through with you to talk to you about what is the content that you can discover on ScienceDirect, how you're able to develop on science literacy, how you can adjust content tailored for your coursework, for your education, and for your learning. And I'll be walking you through on the product itself, on how you can use advanced search techniques like Boolean operators and wildcard searches, browsing, how you can evaluate journal homepages, how you can use ScienceDirect topics. So for those of you who are not familiar, I want to introduce you to ScienceDirect, which is the world's one of the world's largest databases with regards to peer-reviewed research. We have provisioned you with a lot of unmitigated and very easy access to data and peer-reviewed scholarly information so that you are actually able to empower your research. So we understand that it's very important to be able to support your contents as students, as faculty members, as well as librarians. We also want to really optimize our search platforms and algorithms because we want to make sure that it's easier for you to save time searching for research and how you're able to save time by reading more effectively and impactfully as well. So we talk about relevance because we know it's very crucial for you to be reading the right content in terms of education and learning. We know it's very important for you to discover content that you can trust. And it's not easy these days because there's a lot of misinformation going on. So how is it that you know that what you're reading is accurate science? It's science which you can trust. And we also want to help empower you with the flexibility to do all of this. So let's talk firstly about relevance. And at this point, I want to emphasize that if you have any question at any point in time, feel free to type your questions in the Q&A chat box. I want to make this more lively and more dynamic. And if there's a point that you require me to clarify upon, this is something I would very happily love to assist on. So one of the key things is that ScienceDirect is designed to meet the evolving needs of interdisciplinary researchers. We know that science cannot exist in a silo. We know that 78% of our users would often do interdisciplinary research, and 90% agree that the work that would benefit from using books and journals in the same search as well. I want to dial it back itself, and I want to walk you through on the publishing cycle. I think it's very important that you know what goes on in the back end and how ScienceDirect is able to provide you with access to the content. So every single year, authors would submit their article submissions to us and receive approximately about 2 million article submissions every single year. But this doesn't mean that we accept all of these articles. One of the very key things that we do is to ensure quality standards through the peer review process. We promote over 2.5 million authors, and we enable up to 1 million reviewers. The reason for this is simple, right? We can't just simply accept every single information that comes in. The article needs to be peer reviewed, the editor needs to vet and check it, and everyone needs to improve the article before it can finally be published. So we have over 7 million author and publisher communications every year. This is our commitment to editing in terms of the manuscript, and over 560,000 articles were published on ScienceDirect in 2020 itself, and they were made discoverable through search engine and marketing itself. Over 1 billion downloads happen a year in terms of promotion, training, and dissemination. And the ScienceDirect uptime is actually up to 99.82%. We have a lot of small releases being implemented throughout. So for those of you who have been using ScienceDirect for a long time now, you probably realize that ScienceDirect itself has been evolving and keeping up to date with regards to technology. One thing which I want to show you is that this is impactful on a global scale as well. So I want to draw your attention to the chart in the middle, where we can see that Elsevier has published approximately about 17% of the world's total publications. And this is actually very significant. And then you're able to see the impact, where approximately about 25% of the world have been citing this content. So we can see that 70% of the citations have yielded about a quarter of the world's citations. And for people to be able to write and contribute to this 17%, 25% of the references in publications are written from Elsevier journal content itself. So this is how the entirely scholarly cycle is being communicated. And this part, I think, is really, really crucial and important for everyone here who's present on this call. So first and foremost, it's very crucial to develop science literacy to engage in best knowledge and best practices. So first and foremost, students are already gaining knowledge in terms of the coursework. The question here is, how are we able to add onto this process to make this knowledge streamlined as well as very meaningful for students itself? So first and foremost, it's one thing to have knowledge with regards to having basic scientific facts. But a good practice to do so is not just only to read, but for you to be able to ask questions as well, and to be able to define the problems which you are facing. The next question that you want to do is to identify patterns which are ongoing, and you want to analyze as well as interpret the data from the patterns which you are facing itself. So in other words, what we're doing is to not just simply know things, but also to be critical thinkers and to apply it. Another example of this would be to know the cause and effect of things. So it's good that you know the mechanism and you know the explanation, but it's also equally important if you're able to construct explanations from this as well. We have system and system models. Another way for you to do is to engage in argument from the evidence which you are facing. There is structure and function, but a very good practice here would be for you to obtain, evaluate, and for you to communicate this information impactfully and effectively. So the next stage that we can go on to is how you are actually able to leverage on ScienceDirect to develop scientific practices. So we talk about asking questions and defining problems. When you go to ScienceDirect and you look at the full article, you'll be able to see information from the introduction, the literature review, as well as the methods of the application itself. So this actually creates a very good and useful practice for you so that you're able to very astutely identify what are the queries that you want to face, you want to ask, and how you are actually able to structure all these questions to support it better. Another way is for you to analyze and to interpret data. In this case, what is crucial for you is to be able to discuss and to have a conclusion. It's crucial to be able to construct explanations using evidence. At the same time, you need to be able to have results and to have a discussion with regards to the results from the evidence itself. You probably also want to engage in argument from evidence. And a way for you to do that is for you to be able to look at the introduction, to look at the discussion and the conclusion. Last but not least, when you're trying to obtain, evaluate, and to communicate information, it's also crucial that you're able to talk about the implications, the citations, and the references that you're able to find. So I understand that all this itself is actually very interesting for you. It's very crucial. Sometimes it's also not easy to apply all of this. So what I would say that is that you probably need to be able to look at the ScienceDirect platform itself. You're able to look at the PDF reader itself, and you start developing this practice by asking all these questions at different points in time so that you can present a much more coherent, a well thought out article itself. And we'll go through this in more detail. So one of the key things that we have tried to do is that for you to build your knowledge. And this should be seamless. One of the cool things about ScienceDirect is that we offer cross-links and advanced technology so that you're able to find relevant information at your point of need. So these content types work in harmony on ScienceDirect to deliver the best source of knowledge, no matter what research stage a user is at, be it major reference works, ScienceDirect topics, journals, ebooks, serials, and handbooks. So all of this would have a very unique way of contributing to your wealth of knowledge. For instance, under major reference works, this provides foundational information to open up a fundamental overview in terms of the existing body of knowledge. In terms of topics, these are authoritative, introductory overview of information of topics so that you can uncover critical and contextual information. Journals will bring new cutting-edge findings to your research. We have ebooks and monographs to sustain arguments, to open up new paths of inquiry, and handbooks will give you a fresh perspective on the current state of research that uses the latest scholarship. And this is what I like to call the pyramid of knowledge. We can see how this supports you across different strata of your research lifecycle, be it from undergraduate to a graduate. We can see that journals and review journals would talk about primary research and the summary of journal articles on a topic. Book series would talk about in-depth exploration and methods in a field. Ebooks would talk about advanced and detailed descriptions to showcase depth and be compendiums of knowledge. Textbooks will be pedagogical examinations of key subject concepts, while major reference works are comprehensive, foundational introduction to a discipline, also known as encyclopedias. So depending on your use case, depending on which level of research you're currently at, you might find that different content would be useful for you in different ways as well. But we place this all on ScienceDirect, so you're able to access this seamlessly to be able to broaden your knowledge and your scope. So the next part here will be on discoverability. And at this point itself, if you have ScienceDirect open in front of you, that would be great. So how and why ScienceDirect is useful for you is that you're able to rely on critical searching and to filter through authoritative content directly. We can have multiple search fields and filters, which can be applied for more advanced searches. And this is something which I'll be going through with you in more detail. We can showcase suggested publications and there are options for ways for you to filter for access and content. Also, we will be able to showcase journals, and how they actually accept submissions and how they can guide you in terms of submitting your research manuscript. I will encourage all of you to actually create a ScienceDirect account first, because there are lots of features on ScienceDirect which really empowers you to do so. So with the account, you can set up alerts for searches, journals, and book series. You can receive recommendations personalized to your search history. You can access and manage your reading history, and you can access ScienceDirect remotely outside of your institution's IP range. So these are some unique ways for you to do so. And at this point in time, I'm going to stop sharing. And I want to walk you through on how you can create a page on ScienceDirect through live. So let me know if you're able to see my screen right here. So simply go through ScienceDirect.com. I believe CMU may have a different way, which might require you to access through your proxy. But this is how it looks like after I have signed in, right? So I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm firstly going to sign out. And what I would encourage everyone to do is to go to the top right corner to sign in or to register. And then this is a point where they will encourage you to do so, right? So I can sign in with a different account, or you may sign in via your institution, right? So for me, my access email is and then for some of us, we might have a registration page, right? So this is some of the emails that you can put in. You can put in your given name, your family name, your password, and then you can state signed in, and they would encourage you to create a unique password itself. So the very good thing about this is that when you create an account to log into ScienceDirect, you can use this for all other Elsevier products. For instance, like Mendeley itself, which is a really powerful reference manager tool that you can use. So this is something I'll encourage you to do too. You can sign in, and then you can stay signed in as well. So I think let's try to make this a bit more hands-on. I'll showcase to you this page itself. Let's give you a quick 2 minutes, right, where you can just create your account quickly and seamlessly. And if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to type them in the chat box. I'll be around. So the benefits for this is actually pretty interesting. So you'll be able to see your recommendations, your search history, your reading history, how you can manage your alerts, and information as well. So this is something which I really encourage you all to do. Yeah, so let's take a quick 2 minutes, and at 10:05, I'll come back and I'll showcase you the next steps that I'll be going through with you as well in today's session. Okay. So now that we've created a user account, the next step would be for you to actually start browsing around ScienceDirect. So you notice that initially the page that I was at showcase to you a big box where we're able to have a multitude of search fields. So we also have filters and alerts to improve your overall workflow, but let's focus on search first because this is a very key part of what we want to do today. So you can, if there's a broad search term that you want to filter afterwards, you can go to the search bar and you'll be able to filter through it quickly first. So over here, you can see that you're able to search for your keywords, the author name, the journal title, the volume, and the issue itself. Alternatively, what you could do is to go to the advanced search and you can be very specific with this new format. You can search by author affiliation or article type. You can filter for open access or open archive articles. You can check the publications suggested. You can filter for the volume and issue number in journal and book searches. You can set search alerts. You can notice the entitlement icon on each article, and you can download the entire search list as a CSV file. So when it comes to searching, there are a couple of tenets or overarching framework that I like to leverage on. So in terms of advanced search, I would say use specific search terms which are very closely related to your research topic. And this can include alternate words as well as abbreviations. What you definitely want to do would be to avoid words that are too general. You want to be specific. You need to use these words which are similar to your search topic itself. So for instance, we also give you ways to narrow down your options by giving you Boolean operators. And the ones that we currently support includes and, or, not, as well as the hyphen, which is also the not option. So the Boolean operators must be entered in all uppercase for us to register it. The hyphen or minus sign is interpreted as the not operator. So for instance, when you type black hyphen whole, it will give you results that contains the color black or the word black, but it excludes any instances where the whole appears together with it. The Boolean operator precedence is as follows. Is firstly not, which is an exclusion device, followed by and, which is an inclusion device, as well as or. To give you more clarity that in this case, right? So what you can do is when you're using advanced search operators, Boolean operators, when you're looking for and, this gives you the option to find documents which contains all the terms which you are looking for. So you can use this when the terms must appear. Sometimes they may also be far apart from each other, but they're also together in the same article itself. So for instance, if you're looking for urban sustainability, as well as a geographic information systems, you can use the and here. You'll notice that what I've done here is to put geographic information system in open inverted commas. The reason for this actually is very simple, because this is a key phrase. So I want the entire word to appear the whole time. You use or when the documents can contain any of the terms, right? You use or when one of the terms must appear. So in this case, if you're looking for, say, synonyms, alternate spellings, or abbreviations, such as a micromouse or a picomouse. So you can look for an author with his different permutation of his names, such as S.W. Hawking or Stephen W. Hawking, or simply Stephen Hawking. The not operator is what we call an exclusion device, and it excludes documents, which includes the specific term from the search itself. Use the term not to exclude specific terms, and the connector must be used at the end of a search. So if you're looking for, say, particle collisions and not theoretical. So we also have the term asterisks, and this is what we call as wildcard operators. Asterisks can be used at the end of a word to represent 0 or more characters. So if you're looking for, say, pharma asterisks, now this is going to give you a whole range of words, right? Like pharmacy, pharmacist, pharmaceutical, pharmacokinetic, pharmacodynamic, pharmacovigilance. This is helpful and useful when you want to expand it, if you want to have more permutations without being too specific. But what you need at least is 3 characters. For instance, ABC asterisk is supported, but AB asterisk is not supported. The search query in this case can contain a maximum of up to 10 wildcards and can be contained to up to 20 Boolean operators. So you can use them in the following fields, either in the main search box, the title, abstract, and keywords field, or the title field itself. So give me one quick second. I think there is actually one more thing that I want to showcase to you first. There we go. So having gone through all this, the next part that I want to showcase to you would be right over here. So I want you to run through a couple of searches here, right? So firstly, rise in Thailand and the Thai banking security. I want you to try running through a couple of these questions first, and then I want you to write your answers out, right? So give me one quick second here. I was just updating this yesterday, and I may have there we go. All right. So I want you to look through these 3 different queries that I've given to you over here. And I want you to spend the next probably about 7 minutes to go through these questions, right? So go to ScienceDirect, similar to what I've shown you. I want you to try taking a look at a couple of information, right? How are you able to search for rise in Thailand on ScienceDirect? How are you able to look for Thailand's sustainable development goals? How you're able to search for Thai banking security. So it's about 10:12 right now. I want to give you maybe about 7 minutes to about 10:20. I want you to run through the searches, and I want you to leverage on what I've shown you in terms of open inverted commas, wildcards, Boolean operators, and you're able to search for this so that you're not getting flooded with a whole host of information, but you're also able to get the information which you are specifically looking for in this case, right? So I'm going to give you, so now I'm going to give you some time, and in this case, take a quick look at what I've showcased to you over here, and then you are actually able to search for the information that you're looking for. I'll leave the screen here for you during this period of exercise, so you're able to search for these 3 queries, and then you can share with me what your answers are when you're doing this search. I'll be around and present once again, so please spend the next 7 minutes searching for this. I will answer any questions that you have in the chat box or in the Q&A box as well. So yeah, let's get started. So how's everyone coming along with the questions? I'm sure you'll be able to do this quite seamlessly so far. So let's run through a couple of ways that we can solve these 3 exercises. So the first one would be rise in Thailand, right? And if you're interested in to know rise about a broader topic, you can just simply type rise and you'll be able to get over like 456,000 documents. Maybe this is a bit too much, right? So the next thing that you want to do is to look for rise in Thailand, and that's what you normally do. But I think one way that you can also do is to filter it down and then to search for rise in Thailand in open inverted commas. And this brings you down to 371 document results, right? So this actually makes it much more easier for you to look for the content that you're looking for. The next one that we are looking at would be sustainable development goals in Thailand. So what you can do is to search for sustainable development goals first. Then you add the Boolean operator, and then you include Thailand. But what you can also do now is to put it in the sustainable development goals in open inverted commas, and this gives you 2,518 document results. Now, this also applies for Thai banking security. So in this case, the keywords we are looking for is probably banking security. So when you look for banking security in open inverted commas and you include Thailand, you're now able to filter it down to 46 document results. So we have actually over 18 million articles on ScienceDirect at the moment, which is really a lot of information which you're looking at. So the question here is, how do we make your lives more efficient, right? And these are some examples that you can do by leveraging on Boolean operators as well as wildcard operators. So the other thing that now that we have talked about this is that for you to basically be able to browse through the platform. So you can sometimes also browse through journals and books on the home pages, and you can search for publications by domain. In this case, would be economics as well. And you're able to now choose the type of publications and the type of access that you have ability to access to as well. Now, assuming that you are a researcher, for those of you who are researchers and you want to submit your research to be published in an Elsevier journal, this is something which I think is really, really good, right? Your research will take you to the homepage of a journal quickly, and this will determine the relevance to your needs. Now, in this case, you spend less time trying to find the right information and more time to use what you can find within your workflow. You can find journal information like about the journal. You can find out information about the editor and the editorial board members. You'll be able to find the aims and scope. You'll be able to find how you can submit your article to this journal per se. So this really helps you to discover content, the content that you're looking for in an efficient way. This also includes whether or not a journal is open access, what is the score of it on CiteScore, as well as by impact factor. Let me run through this with you actually, because I think it's crucial that we are able to do this live. So I'm going to showcase once again the screen over here. So voila. Okay, so now we can actually put in a couple of keywords here. Normally, my first example would be to search for COVID-19 because we really do have a lot of research on it. So we can see over here either COVID-19 or coronavirus. We can actually get over 170,000 search results. One good way to see the impact of research would be to take a look at the year of publication, right? We can see that's about 29,000 research articles in 2020, 6,000 in 2021. Half of the year has gone by and it's about 54,000 research articles already as it is. And we know that it is here to stay, right? But let's try something more relevant to the topics that you are facing. So this is a part where I'll encourage you to be very interactive. So if you have any questions about, or you have any topics that you want me to search for, please type them in the Q&A or in the chat box and I'll start searching for it. But otherwise, I'll be taking a look at some information like banking security and we can browse through this, right? In this case, we can see that there's about 538 results because we have narrowed this down quite significantly as well. The first one is actually a comparative analysis of internet banking security in Thailand. That is one. We can see financial stress spillovers, and these are all based by similarity in terms of keywords, right? But you can also sort this out by dates as well. So we can see which are the most recently published research articles pertaining to banking security. So we have a couple of it. I'm going to open all this up and then we can browse through this as well. Now, what you may want to also do, right, is that you probably have options to leverage on all these searches as well, okay, in terms of the year of publication. So if I want the most recent one, I can simply select this 57 results and I'll be able to see what it's about. I'll be able to view the article types. We are able to view the publication title. Publication title, very useful because now you're able to see which journal has the propensity or likelihood to publish these articles, these keywords of articles. And we are able to filter this down by subject areas, and we are able to see it by access types. So all of this information that you have available to you, this is something that you can definitely do as well. So for instance, right, if you're looking at, say, this research article, a comparative analysis of internet banking security in Thailand, you're able to see a lot of information here, right? We can see the abstracts, the keywords, and the references itself. You at the same time are able to see that this is part of a special issue. We are able to see that the authors is from Swan Dusit Rajabat University in Bangkok, and the Sakal Security Research Center in Edith Cowan University over in Australia has been available online for some time. We can see other articles from this issue. We can see in this case recommended articles based on articles which are very similar keywords to what you're looking at. And also very crucially, we are able to see article metrics. So we can see the number of citations, the captures, readers, etc. And this is funneled and powered by PlumX metrics. So assuming this article is not what you're looking for, you can simply close it. And then you can go to the next one, right? In this case, it's a statistical mechanics and its applications, which is AI algorithms for fitting GARC parameters to find empirical financial data. So remember, initially I was talking about practice and knowledge, and this is where you can take a look at. We can take a look at the highlights, the abstract, the keywords over here, the methods, for instance, how like you're able to get the statistical inference, the conclusions, etc. So you're able to get all of this information over here as well. You're able to see the methods in which the math is being calculated to. So this is something which I think is really cool. I highly encourage you to use it as well. Over here, we can see whether or not a government provides credit rating would enhance or impede a firm's access to trade credit. And we can take a look at this and we can see who are the researchers working on this, right? We have a School of Economics and Management from the Southeast University from Nanjing in China, School of Business from the University of Wollongong from New South Wales, and the School of Finance from Zhongnan University of Economics and Law in Wuhan, China. All of these options are available for you when you're taking a look at this. So there are lots of options here, right? What you can also do is to simply filter it by the publication title. And then over here, we can see a couple of things. What I like to do is to always click on the abstract, and we are able to see more information about what this article is about without having to directly open it in a new page. But what you can also do is that you can download all of these articles and download them in one shot, or you can simply choose to export this, right? So when you're exporting it, this becomes very useful because you're able to export this to, say, a reference manager or something like Mendeley or EndNotes. This really helps to make your life a lot easier as well. Over here, you saw that I selected the International Review of Economics and Finance. We say that this has a site score of 3.9 and an impact factor of 3.399. So remember what I was talking about? So now you're able to see the full aims and scope of the journal itself, what they're trying to do and achieve. You can select on the editorial board member so that you know who are the individuals and the researchers responsible for managing the editorial workflow. You can see what's the abstract and indexing style that they are in. You can see that there's call for papers, and they have a special issue on blockchain markets as well as environmental impacts. We can see announcements as well as webinars as well. So it seems like we have a Meet the Elsevier Finance Editors workshop that you can take a look at. So this is something that you can go and browse through when you have your own time. I think this is very, very interesting. This may be something which you might be interested in, right? So feel free to do so. We also have like more journal people to present as well. So we have six of our editors in the finance journals. They've presented the journals in relation to a new publishing initiative too. So this is something which I think is pretty cool as well. Now, next would be for you to submit your article, and we can go to the next page too. When you submit your article, this will bring you to the Elsevier Editorial Manager. But what I would say is that you can take a look at the guide for authors, right? The Elsevier Guide for Authors is really, really important because what it tells you is that how you can submit your paper, what are your paper your way, a submission fee if you want to pay for it via Go Open Access, and a submission checklist, right? Over here, we have all the information that you ever require to know how you can prepare your research article, what is the form that you need to adhere to when you're submitting it. And this is why we have all these links for you, in this case, on a step-by-step basis, right? So if I take a look at article structure, it will bring me to these guides here. Now, they'll tell you what you need to do, your title, your author name, your corresponding author, right? So this is a very, very thorough, comprehensive page. You'll find this useful for you. And if you're submitting a research article to Elsevier, good luck, right? I really wish you nothing but the best. Okay. So now that we have gone through how you can filter it and what it is that you can read through this, once again, I will encourage you to send me any key phrases that you'd like me to run for you so that, you know, this can be a bit more dynamic. Okay. Well, we can always come back to the live session later. But the next section that I want to talk about will be on ScienceDirect topics. So this is a very new product that, well, a new function, I would say, that we have worked on. And we have been using artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms, and natural language processing to build a bridge between book and journal content. So we have linked this across a multitude of pages. It has been linked from a lot of journal articles as well as book articles, and we are able to generate a lot of visits every single time because people find this useful as well, right? So now that you have, now with topics, you have information at your fingertips. It's a curated, relevant, accurate way of looking at peer-reviewed content, and it's a quick and clear path to discoverability. So it's very important for you to be available, for content to be available across a mixture of resources like journals, books, and reference works. To give you a very quick example, sometimes if you're looking for a terminology which you're not familiar with, you may search for polarization resistance on Google, and this will bring you actually to the ScienceDirect topic page itself, for instance. Reason for this is simple. We have a very strong working relationship with Google, and this was one of the initiatives that we advance as well from our side. But what you're able to see from the topic page in this case, right, will be the search word. You'll be able to find the explanation of it. You'll be able to find the related terms to this, as well as in-depth content that you can access to. So this is very useful when you want to understand unfamiliar terms as well as concepts. So my favorite example of my favorite analogy would be like, this is similar to Wikipedia, right? And it's very similar. When you're reading an article, you see a hyperlink, you click on the hyperlink, and then you find out more information about what it's like. So it's kind of like going down a rabbit hole, but I think it's very similar with one huge caveat here. Information that you read on ScienceDirect has been peer-reviewed, right? So you know that it's actually accurate. So let's take a quick look at the topic pages. So we have made it easier for you to browse for topic pages when you select at the bottom, and you can browse it by topics. So if I'm looking for topics, once again, if any of you have any questions that you would like to search for, let me know. So we have a huge range of words in economics, right? So let's take a look at economics. We can talk about economic aid, economic analysis. Well, let's take a look at these three keywords first. So what is economics? It's in regard that the political economic context in which they form and exist mean everything. And we can see all of the related terms over here, right? Similar synonyms: environmental policy, trade policy, inequality, economic development, tariffs, foreign investment, etc. And you can find all topics here, right? You can add this to Mendeley, you can download as a PDF, you can send an alert when there's new information that's being included here. And then over here, you can find all the chapters and the books as well as the journal articles, very similar to what you're looking for. So let's take a look at view all topics and see what you can find. So this brings you to this page, and then you can browse for all this information all over again. In this case, we can see when it comes to economic aid, we can see developing countries, mediation, USSR, military aid, and state law. So let's take a look at developing countries. Once again, you can find related terms like inequality, foreign investment, sanitation, as well as more information that you can find over here. Under economic analysis, we find that this is an analysis which quantifies costs and benefits, which relies on two distinct information streams, right? So we have all this information that really help you to understand it. And we also have, for instance, like we have an input and output table. And in this case, it's referring to the IoT in METI, which is a symmetric IoT with common classification of 173 products. So all these keywords are all available for you. I think it's really useful. So please feel free to keep browsing over here. I think you might like this. So the next thing you can do at the same time when you created an account is to have serendipitous discoveries with personalized recommendations delivered to your inbox. So sometimes, right, when you browse in and out on ScienceDirect, this would cause you to have a whole wealth of information, but sometimes personalized recommenders will make your search more effective and impactful. So the more you interact with ScienceDirect when you're logged in, the more relevant and precise the recommendations will be. So it's really quite simple, right? You go to the homepage, you click on your name, and you click on My Recommendations, and you can see what our adaptive algorithm has found for you with regards to what you're looking for. So 1 in 4 researchers have received a recommendation that they have wanted to read. Once the reader is registered and signed on to ScienceDirect, you will search for patterns in usage to understand the research interests. The more frequent your sign-ins, the more relevant the recommendations are. In this case, since you're in the economics faculty, if you want to find out what's the latest piece of trending research, you can simply stay in with regards to the personalized recommender. You can also schedule alerts about relevant research. So it lets you know only about new research which meets your criteria. You can sign up for alerts, and then you can click on, say, maybe journal types alerts or keyword alerts. And this really helps you with regards to your efficiency. So now the alerts will send to you on, say, a weekly, fortnightly, monthly basis. So you can set your schedule accordingly to how you like it. We also have a reading history, which keeps you up to date and to keep track of what it is that you're reading. The 100 most recent articles that you have reviewed will be saved. You can review, save, and delete articles from the reading history, or to download the full list of entries that you're looking at. I referred in passing earlier to Mendeley. And for those of you who do not have Mendeley, I will encourage you to do it. Mendeley is what we call a reference manager. It is free. It helps you to import PDFs and references to improve your overall workflow, right? So this is something that you can do. Just now, when you saw me browsing on an article, I can click on adding it to Mendeley, and I have a web importer, and you appear it in the way that you're looking at right now. Once you import this to your library, you can select your bibliometrics, your bibliography. You can insert your citation style in, as well as the bibliography will pop up straight away. I thought this was really useful, and I wish I had this when I was a graduate student about a decade back. And I wanted, or what I really, really wanted was to really improve on my writing thesis and to save on time spent with regards to it, right? Something very important. Okay, this part here would be to showcase the resources and the flexibility that you have over here. We talk about how you can take a look at Google itself, which links through it. For those of you who are librarians, you may want to find that API integration is very useful for you as well. We are very particular about security because we know that there's been lots of sites such as Sci-Hub, which have been trying to access this irregularly. So we are very proactive in terms of preventing security breaches. So make sure that you don't do what we call bulk download. Download content only which you found necessary. If you bulk download it, it might sometimes block the IP in which you're accessing it from if we detect abnormal behavior, right? It's only when we solve it, then we will unblock the IP. We also have a ScienceDirect support center, which can answer your FAQs, and it also offers you video tutorials as well as other user guides. You can access the support center by clicking on the help button in the upper right corner of the ScienceDirect pages or following the link below. You can also stay up to date with regard to product enhancements here. For those of you who are interested in submitting a manuscript over to us, over to the Elsevier JournalFinder, yeah, this is a good site to go into. So the JournalFinder allows you to look for Elsevier journals, which we think are similar to what you're looking to publish in with regards to your article. Simply put in your paper title, the abstract, and the keywords, as well as a field of research. You can write a quick search on this, and this would actually give you a few more options in which you can filter it in. If, for instance, if you're looking for journals that offer Go Open Access or journals with full subscription, articles in at least like 2 citations, with at least 2 citations. In terms of site score and impact factor, you can see the time taken for the first decision, the time taken to publication, so that you know approximately how long it will require for your research article to be published. So yeah, this is really what I have to showcase to you. And I think that I want to go through the live session itself once again, right? Because I think I've spoken quite a fair bit of things, but I want to really showcase to you what it is that you are looking at here. So what you've seen me to take a look at is that you can take a look at my search history. You'll be able to see what are the type of keywords that I've been able to run through over here. So sometimes, you know, if you really want to take a look at it, you can simply just click on this and this would make your life a lot easier. You can also take a look at your reading history over as well, right? What are the articles that I've been reading as well in the past? We can take a look at the recommendations, and this would give you personalized recommendations based on your recent sign-in activity that you can download as well. So this gives you a good idea and gist. And this allows me to showcase you what are the alerts that I have saved to my account as well, for instance. So if I want to take a look at popular articles, I can select on this and I can find that how well is this trending. This is a new research article. It has approximately about 1 citation at the moment, but it's trending very well because it's 182 readers as well, right? For instance. So yeah, this is some of the things that I wanted to showcase to you in today's session. So I thought, and hopefully you found this useful. I know most of you are probably pretty shy to ask me questions. I will encourage you to not be shy. Yeah, maybe I can take 1 or 2 questions at the moment, and then we can release you a bit earlier for lunch, I guess. So please feel free to type in any questions that you have right now. If you require any clarification pertaining to ScienceDirect, and this is something which I'll be very glad to assist you on. Well, no worries. If you don't feel comfortable reaching out to me yet, I will showcase to you. Well, let me share my email with you over here. So you can reach out to me at n.park@elsevier.com. Yeah, anytime you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll do my best to support you. The only caveat I would say is that please write your questions in English because I can't speak Thai. So I do apologize for that. But in the meantime, thank you so much. I think this was a very good session. Ms. Pakanan, thank you so much for arranging for that very welcome introduction. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to meeting with you next for our next series in the workshops. Yeah, and I hope that you'll probably ask me more questions then. In the meantime, stay safe. I heard that there's an increase in terms of COVID cases in Thailand. Take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.